everyone. Meteorologist Marisa Woloszyn here, tracking some snow showers moving across the area this evening or tonight. And we will have more snow showers coming in as we get into Friday. Uh-oh, my whole screen just went blank. Okay, now I can see. But for you also to see me, hey everyone, here in the 7 First Alert Weather Center, Meteorologist Marisa Woloszyn here to kind of update you on the snow that's coming through now and also what we can expect for Friday, plus bitterly cold temperatures returning as we move into Friday night and Saturday morning. If you have questions, let me know. Post them below. I will get to what I can while I'm here live, and then of course you can answer them after being live too, or ask them, excuse me, and I will try to answer them as we continue into tonight. All right, let's get started again. We have snow showers that are moving in. Most of this is light, but still looking at a dusting across the majority of the area, so any untreated surface is going to be slippery this night. I keep saying evening, but tonight. Accumulation though with this batch, less than a half an inch. So we're not expecting a lot. You're going to get a little bit through tomorrow morning, but I wouldn't shovel tomorrow morning only because there will be more snow falling throughout the morning hours. There is a back edge here to what is moving through at this moment. So we are eventually going to see these end. So mainly just to the west of US 23 is kind of the back edge. Again, all of this is pushing to the east. So we will start to see these snow showers wind down by the time we get to about 11 o'clock tonight. And then we do get a little bit of a break. Sorry, that was my elbow. But we are going to eventually see more snow showers wrap in. I want to zoom out so you can take a look at kind of what this system looks like. And it's kind of surprising because it is going to impact our weather for about the next 36 hours, but it doesn't look like much. We've got some pockets of some snow here or there, but overall it's not a big, beautiful system that is a comma shape and it's got this wide swath of snow and some rain. No, obviously it doesn't have that. But we do have an area of moisture back off towards Minneapolis as well as over through Canada. That is what we're looking at to impact our conditions as we move into your Friday. So what I'm talking about is this moisture over here just to the west of Lake Superior. So we'll keep an eye on that. That is what's coming our way for Friday morning, and it is going to impact the morning commute across the area. The snow that we're going to be getting, biggest concern is going to be slippery driving conditions across the area, and then you're probably going to have to shovel even though it's not going to be a lot of snow. So that's what we're looking at with this system. Let's time it out. Again, we'll wrap up some of these showers tonight. Then we get into the early morning hours of Friday, and we'll start to see more showers come in, and that area that we just looked at west of Lake Superior, that's what it will be here by Friday morning. I do expect widespread snow showers mainly after 5 a.m. and we'll keep it through about 11 o'clock in the morning. So our best chance for accumulating snow will be between about 5 and 11 a.m. But if you notice there, I'll backtrack just a bit. There is a heavier push farther south than north as this moves on through. So if you live south of I-94, a better chance to see a little bit higher in amounts of snowfall across the area as that moves through. So between 5 and 11 a.m. tomorrow, a lot of us will be commuting, whether you're an early commuter or you're a later commuter, you will be running into some snowy conditions. So especially any untreated surface, be prepared for slippery driving conditions, and then even just be prepared for some main roads to have problems just because crews have to be out and about salting them. Now, it is going to be in the 20s around this time that we get the push of the moisture, mainly low to mid 20s. So salt should work. It just might work a little slower across the area with the temperatures again in the low 20s. All right, we're not done just yet. As we get into the afternoon on Friday, we will still keep snow showers. Here, obviously, you can tell coverage, not a lot. We've got a couple pockets here or there, but we are looking at the potential of seeing snow squalls develop with these spotty snow showers. So a snow squall, again, we've been talking about it more this year, actually because it's happened more this year than it has in the past, but they're narrower bands of steady or heavy snow. And so that can lead to whiteout conditions or reduced visibility very quickly, and then also could lead to a quick accumulation of some snow, leading to even worse travel conditions across the area. So if you do get a snow squall warning on your phone, I have a lot of people be like, oh, I got this warning and I had no idea. Honestly, those are issued, especially if you are for those that are driving. And I've heard so many people be like, well, I drove through it. You really don't want to drive through it. And honestly, they move so quickly that if you wait just 20 minutes in most cases, you'll be totally fine. That's the biggest thing with it. It's there because it we want to protect your safety while you're out on the roadways, and you really don't have to wait that long for it to pass. And then again, the conditions become much better to travel across the area. So keep that in mind if you get one tomorrow. But again, that'd be tomorrow afternoon into the early evening. And then finally a front comes through. It's an Arctic front, and that'll calm everything down, but it is going to make it colder across the area. First, let's talk about snowfall before we talk about the Arctic push of air. Let's see. So snowfall, thankfully with this system, not expected to be a lot. Honestly, it's 1 to 2 inches. You're going to get a little bit tonight, which is not going to amount to much, less than a half an inch. Tomorrow morning is our best chance to see about 1 to 1.5 inches of snow. And then it's in the afternoon that will add on that other half an inch or maybe up to an inch in a couple of spots. So if you want to, I'm not saying be lazy, you might want to wait until the end of the day to shovel, or you're probably going to have to shovel twice. You're going to shovel once in the middle part of the day, and then you're going to have to shovel again where there's that final push of snow in the afternoon and evening along the Arctic front. But overall, it's not going to be a lot of snow, but it is going to be enough that you will need to shovel, and just be prepared for slick travel conditions, especially for the morning commute, but also potentially for the evening commute too, depending on when the showers wrap up in your particular spot. So not a lot, but impactful yet again. All right, let's take a look bigger picture wise again of what's kind of being set up here. So the snow showers that we've had today have actually been ahead of the storm system that is mainly just off to our west. Now there's a little low pressure, there's a bigger low pressure north, and the bigger low pressure north is just kind of indicating more strength. There's it's stacked more vertically in the atmosphere that's really supporting the strength here. But this system is where we have the snow right now up towards Lake Superior. That's going to come in as we move into tonight, and actually more so tomorrow morning. So you can see that moisture kind of start to work its way right along what's called the triple point, where you've got the occluded front, which is purple, and then the red, which is a warm front, and the blue, which is a cold front. So that's where we really have the most moisture with it. It does look like that triple point will stay to our south. So heavier snow likely through Indiana and Ohio. Still amounts there expected to be not too crazy, which is good. But long story short, Friday morning, that is where we are looking at the steadier snow rolling on through as it pushes through. And then it actually tapers down again by 11 o'clock. That's because that all goes through. Then we wait for the Arctic front that will be off to the north by this point, and that is going to pull in the Arctic air. We are going to look at cold conditions moving into your Friday night and more so into your Saturday morning. Ahead of that front, that's where we have the more scattered snow showers in the afternoon and a chance for a few snow squalls, or those narrow, intense bands of snow. So that moves on through, and then our weather gets quiet in terms of snow moving into Friday night and Saturday, but it is going to be on the windier side, and then it's also going to be cold as the Arctic air filters in from the north. But before we get to the Arctic air, I do have some good news. We are going to be making it at the freezing mark, or to the freezing mark, or even just above on your Friday. It has been, at this point, 15 days since we have had temperatures above freezing or even at freezing. Tomorrow will be day 16, but I do expect us to get to that point. So you can see across the area, we will be looking at temperatures near the freezing mark. Now this will happen in the early afternoon, and then the Arctic front comes through at some point in the late afternoon, early evening, between about 4 and 7 p.m. on your Friday. Once that Arctic front comes through, our temperatures are going to drop. So you're going to see here what you can expect. This starts at 5 p.m. tomorrow. We'll go from temperatures near about 30 degrees, and then by the time you get to 9 o'clock, we're back into the upper teens. By the time you get to 2 a.m., we're into the single digits, and we'll continue to see our temperature slide all the way into your Saturday morning. Now we're also going to have the winds, which will be picking up. Out of the northwest, they'll be about 20 to 30 miles per hour, potentially a few gusts near 40 miles per hour as we get closer to the midnight hour on, again, Friday night. So that is going to lead to wind chills, unfortunately, below zero, anywhere from about 10 to 15 degrees below zero as you're waking up Saturday morning. So it will be cold across the area. It's going to feel even colder with the wind. So do what you can to stay warm as we move into Saturday. Yes, the cold air is back, but I have good news for us here in Southeast Michigan. We are on the edge of this Arctic blast. They're going to hit harder off to the east, the northeast. They are going to see the colder air last a little bit longer. For us, we're on the edge, so this is a one-day only event for us. We are going to have the snow Friday. Then the drop in the temperatures, looking at below zero wind chills, waking up Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon is not going to be very warm, though we'll have a mixture of some mostly to partly sunny skies with highs into the teens. But you can already see we start the recovery process moving into your Sunday. Yes, it's a cold start, but we climb into the 20s. Then on Monday, we're into the upper 20s. Then we're looking at mid to upper 30s as we move into next week. That hopefully is going to be music to your ears. I would take the 30s over the 20s at this point just because it's been so cold. 30s are what are average for this time of year too, so we'll be back closer to average. You can see there are chances for some snow on here. Wednesday's got a bunch of other icons on it too, like raindrops and lines. So Wednesday, because of that warmer temperature, there's a chance that we may see some rain or freezing rain depending on the track of the storm. So keep an eye on that for potential travel impacts. That storm actually arrives Tuesday night, so we may have some slippery conditions for that. But overall, a little bit of snow on Sunday, not expecting much. Monday, also not expecting much. Wednesday could create problems with just a little bit of ice. We'll see how that plays out. And then Thursday, also not expecting a ton of snow. So no like major systems still coming through, which I don't know if necessarily that's a good thing, because if you're like me, you're like, great, another inch of snow. I got to shovel it again. Oh, and another inch. And it's just like, come on, right? But that's what we're looking at. The active weather pattern is going to be sticking around as we get into next week. So hopefully I cleared some stuff up. Ask your questions. I've got a little bit of time before I have to run into the studio. We have the 10 o'clock on TV 20, and then of course channel 7 we have the 11 o'clock coming up. But let me just, I'm looking over here looking at what we've got going on. Let's see. Nancy, when will we see sunny and 70 again? May? June? Is that our average? I don't see it on any sort of 7-day forecast or extended forecast into next month. Yeah, I know. I'm with you, Nancy. All right. Oh, I like this. Someone else. Maybe 50s and 60s? I'm not seeing that either. And Eddie, no more snow. I know. Okay, I am a true Michigander like everyone else. I love winter, but this winter has been rough, right? I mean, we have just had bitterly cold conditions. Whew, for the last 2 weeks, obviously, but then even before that, it was like another week. And then December, before we got to the holidays, it was also bitterly cold. And then we've had so many rounds of snow, and we have nothing to show for it, because I was looking at the climatological data and kind of how this year compares, because you're like, it's been a really cold year. There's been a snowy year. Are we like the snowiest or the coldest? Well, no. We're honestly not even in the top 10 on either of those. Not even, I don't even think on the top 20 or 30 on either of those. We're kind of an average year, but just obviously an average year that is leaning colder and leaning snowier across the area. That's always a bummer if it's like that. All right, anyone else have any questions about what we've got going on? Yes, I know, I agree, Kyle. Tired of the cold. I know, honestly, 30 degrees would feel amazing. I bet you tomorrow is going to feel nice if you don't have to drive anywhere and obviously battle some of the snow. But the early afternoon should not be too bad. Once the morning snow wraps up and we have like a breather in the middle part of the day before the snow showers and the potential snow squalls come in with the Arctic front, it shouldn't be that bad. If it's not that bad in your particular spot, get outside and go for a quick little walk or something. Try to enjoy some of that warmth. And by warmth, again, 32, 33, or 34 degrees before, again, the snow comes back into the Arctic air. I love this. Pretty much every comment is about the fact that we want it to be warmer. I love it. I love it. Yes, I would agree with you more. Let's see. You're welcome, Sherry, about the wind speed. Yeah, wind gusts will be close to 40 tomorrow evening. So actually in the morning, winds aren't going to be too bad, but they're going to pick up throughout the day. Strongest winds are going to be tomorrow evening into early Saturday morning. That's why wind chills will be also lower. But we'll have wind chills wind speeds Friday night at about 20 to 30 with a couple of gusts near 40. I don't expect a lot of them. It does look like they start to weaken pretty quickly as you get into Saturday morning, but that is what we're looking at. Matt, I've lived in Detroit 3 months, new to the area. Love it, but when will we see the warmth? So Matt, we're going to blame you. We're going to blame you for the snow because it's been a rough 3 months. November, December, and January have been very cold and snowy. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's going to warm up. Again, we are expecting a shift potentially later this month to be above average. Average for February ranges anywhere from, I think our average now is 33 degrees. And then by the end of the month, the average high is 40. So there's potential that we may see more upper 30s at least in our future, and maybe even see some 40s before the month is done, because it does look like we are going to see a change in the overall pattern as we get towards the second half of the month. There does look to be a good chance for a warm up. So warm at 40 degrees, that might be pretty nice. So we'll see if that plays out, of course. Of course, we're also looking at, I keep saying this, La Nina is supposed to become ENSO neutral. That could change to a less active pattern, less active storm track over us. Obviously, I haven't seen any indication of that yet, just because, or at least kind of the idea that when we switch back to ENSO neutral, it's going to slow down our storm tracks, because we've got a lot in our future here on the 7-day forecast. It's kind of one after the other every other day or so. So that's why we have an active 7-day here. But yeah. You got more. Will the Arctic blast move in a different direction? No. Nope. The cold air is coming down. The good news is it is going to be more focused east of us, and we're not going to see the worst of it, and it's also not going to stick around that long. As you can see, again, it's pretty much one day for us here that we're in the teens, and then we climb into the 20s. Other places are a little bit different. So you can actually see it here. I'm going to start this off. This is Friday morning. Temperatures are actually going to hold steady overnight tonight, low 20s. That's pretty much what we climbed to today, and we're going to hold that overnight tonight. But then as we get towards tomorrow morning, we're going to start to see some warmer air come in with that initial wide area of snow coming through. And then by the time we get into the early afternoon, again, that sweet spot in between when the morning snow wraps up and we get a little breather before a few more snow showers and potential snow squalls later in the day comes through, we will be looking at low to mid 30s across the area. It's not necessarily going to be sunny, but we are going to be looking at some warmer temperatures. And then here comes the colder air. The Arctic front moves through between about 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. and behind it, temperatures drop. So you can see by the time we get to 8 o'clock, a lot of us are close to 10 degrees, and then it continues to drop as we move into Friday night and getting into Saturday morning. Now, this model, I will say, is being a little overzealous on how cold we're getting. I think most of us are going to stay closer to about 5, 6, 7 degrees rather than down closer to 1, 2, or 3 degrees. But it's still going to be cold. Wind chills during this time by Saturday morning are going to be about 10 to 15 degrees below zero. So please bundle up if you can. All right, my time is done. I've got to go run into the studio. Again, you can tune into TV 20 at 10 o'clock or Channel 7 at 11 o'clock to get another look at your forecast. And then Mike Taylor will be in tomorrow morning. I'll be in at noon. I do plan on doing probably another live in the afternoon tomorrow, just tracking if we do have any snow squalls develop and watching that walk through. And then you've got me tomorrow night as well. If you don't want to watch the Olympics, you can tune into us. I'll be getting you ready for the Arctic air moving in, and then also more again on some warmer conditions on the other side of this weekend. All right, everyone have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay warm if you can. I'll leave you with a little bit of radar on there right now. Again, tracking some of the lighter snow showers rolling through. This will be out of here in about an hour, closer to 11 o'clock, and then we'll have a little breather before widespread snow comes in again tomorrow morning. Widespread 1 to 2 inches. It's not a big snowmaker. It's just enough you're going to have to shovel, as well as be prepared for impacts on the commute. All right, have a good one, everyone.